In the words of Minnie Pearl, howdy! And welcome to Litter Media Live for this, today Wednesday?
Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
Wednesday.
It seems like we've had a week in like 2 days.
Meet the Manager Day. Yeah.
It is that at McDonald's, and we'll talk about that here shortly, so stick close for that. Welcome to the program. We're a little late today, and that's because we were doing some things behind the scenes, and it wasn't because Ramey was dragging his feet. For the first time, I can say it wasn't because Ramey was dragging his feet.
No. We were preparing for tomorrow's pregame show.
I stand before you blameless for the first time in my life.
I washed my hands.
Coming up in just a bit, we'll get you caught up to date with news, a look at sports. There was an exciting game last night, more than one. There was a couple exciting games last night. And also, we will touch on this date in history in the Litter Media Wayback Machine with Mr. History, Mike Smith, a.k.a. The Icon. But first, let's take a look at what the weather is doing for us today. We've got that misting kind of rain going on today.
Yeah, had a little bit of fog early this morning, but the National Weather Service canceled the fog advisory that they had out at about 10. But rain continuing throughout the day and evening today and again tomorrow. Today's high up around 50, 55 for tomorrow. But don't be surprised if you do see a little bit of that fog during the early morning hours. But they're not saying anything about any dense fog advisories for tomorrow at this time.
You'll notice a little change with our weather. For whatever reason, the weather app we have been using on our website has gone to just a radar. So we don't have the forecast for you underneath there. This just occurred sometime today, so we haven't had time to investigate as to options for us. So we'll do that a little bit later on today. So we want to make this the best thing for you and give you good reasons to tune in to Litter Media, such as the news, which is on the way next. But first, let's tell you about Scioto Valley Dumpsters. If you've got a project that's going on, whether it be in your home or your business, you need to have a dumpster on standby so you can throw all that stuff you're getting rid of into a dumpster. And then you have ever-capable hands that will get that dumpster to a recycling center or a dumpster, wherever they take this stuff to. 740-253-8389. Just remember to call. You'll probably talk to Carl and say, hey, Dan and Mike sent us. Scioto Valley Dumpsters, 740-253-8389.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Each week, Litter Media presents the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Player of the Week. If you have an athlete to nominate, any amateur athlete is eligible. Simply visit littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. At the end of the year, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Make your nominations now at littermedia.com. Click on Player of the Week.
At Rathkamp Financial, we act as your advocate in all wealth matters. We believe in long-term relationships and working to earn your continued trust with our customized investment solutions. Our greatest satisfaction comes from working with clients for many years and helping them realize their dreams.
You haven't had vodka soda like this. No one has. Made with the world's smoothest vodka plus real juice. New White Claw Vodka Soda.
As we always tell you, you can find good news when you log on to our website. That's littermedia.com. And, of course, you follow us here on Facebook as well as Litter Media X, formerly Twitter, and our YouTube channel as well. And now let's get right on to what's making news for us today.
Well, something that Aaron, our producer, is working on that you and he attended, I think, yesterday, the Chillicothe Primary STEM program.
And part of the first thing they were doing is learning communication. And so I was invited in to come in and speak. And as you can see, there we are on the screen. And that is Brooke. And she is showing everybody what's going on with Litter Media. She even played some of the stuff. Oh, there's me walking into place, getting a warm reception by all the kids. Thank you very much. It was quite intimidating. There's like 60 kids in this class, and then they brought another group in, and I thought, trying to entertain my granddaughter was one thing. Keeping their attention was something else, and it was a lot of fun. And the one kid came up to me and says, "You just popped right off the screen. You came off the screen. You became a real guy." So thank you again to Brooke Deddy as well as Amber Good. They are part of this STEM program. You're going to learn more about it tomorrow. We'll have, I believe, interview comments from Dustin England, who is the Chillicothe primary principal, also Heather Tarleton, who's one of the STEM coordinators for this whole program. It's amazing what they're learning, Mike, at the kindergarten level, and then the first and second graders are also doing something similar. Right. And as Heather will explain in the interview that you'll get a chance to see tomorrow, it has propelled on to when these kids leave this building, they are ready to do stuff at the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade level at the intermediate school. So it's amazing. And Dustin England talked about how it has changed learning for these kids.
I'm just thinking of what you're talking about. And when I was in kindergarten or first grade, I was just learning to tie my shoes.
Well, in fact, we bumped into Mr. Higley out in the hallway. He's a second grade teacher, and his class is working on catapults. Oh, my. So I thought to myself, man, remember when we used to make paper planes and we would throw them during history class, that sort of thing? These kids are actually getting to do it on purpose and learning stuff.
Or make the paper football that you can kick through the uprights and all that.
So it'll be interesting to see how all this turns out. The kids seem to enjoy it. If you've never been into the primary building, and you can look at our YouTube channel, you'll see the walkthrough that I did with then Superintendent John Saxton. Now to walk through that building, seeing it all come to fruition and kids in it, everything's going. It's fantastic, but it's just neat to see how this has all come together, and I'm excited for the kids at Chillicothe City Schools. It's pretty cool.
Keep looking at Litter Media YouTube when that finalized piece gets put up.
And Aaron went into the classrooms with some of these kids. The teachers rotate from the class. So one teacher will have one part of the curriculum to teach, and they will teach at each one of the rooms. And so each class gets a different teacher, but that teacher is specialized in that one particular subject. So it's rather unique, and I want to go back to school.
No comment. College scholarship application. Here's your chance.
There we go.
Are now being accepted by the Chillicothe Ross Community Foundation. Scholarships at the county level as well as high school specific are available for all Ross County, Pike County, Pickaway County schools, and Christian and home schools in our area. But the deadline to apply is March the 22nd. Floor BWXT was recognized for its commitment to the economic development of South Central Ohio during the Greater Chillicothe and Ross County Development Annual Breakfast. This year, the fund provided grants for 8 projects in Ross County at a total of over $209,000. That's a record for Ross County in the fund's more than 10-year history. Also, Community Commitment Fund Chair Tim Poe was honored during the breakfast for his years of dedication of growing economic communities in the 4-county region of Ross, Pike, Scioto, and Jackson counties. The Chillicothe VA Medical Center is seeking veterans of the World War II, Korea, and Vietnam eras to take the honor flight to Washington, D.C. on October the 10th of this year. Application information is available at the VA office. Just give them a call and ask about the honor flight, and they'll take care of you. Well, guess who's excited to learn about owls and take on Owl Hike this Friday, January 26th at Lancaster's Alley Park?
Who?
See the bottom, the very bottom there in that picture, under the table, little kitty. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It looks like, kind of looks like Bucky.
Yeah. Well, there are still openings if you want to go. Register online at lancasterparks.com. A small fee of $5 covers snacks and supplies. All ages are welcome. And if you'd like to get more information, you can email Alley Park, just like the alley you drive down, at yahoo.com.
Alley Park and owls.
Yeah. Ow. Ooh, ooh. Walnut Street Children's School in Chillicothe is planning a February fun night. That's coming up on the 15th of February, 5:30 to 7 p.m. To get more information, you can give them a call at Walnut Street Children's School. And the Logan Town Center, that's over in Logan, Ohio, they're hosting their first Color Run 5K on March the 16th. That's a 10 a.m. start. If you want to get more information on that, give the Logan Town Center in Logan, Ohio, a call.
Have you ever been involved with the Color Run?
No, but I've seen the thing that you've done on video and a lot of pictures about it.
Yeah, and you want to make sure you're not standing downwind when they shoot all that colored chalk at everybody. Or
maybe
paint
that's
or
where
whatever
I'm
it is.
seeing all these people with different color hair, blue hair and red hair. Maybe they've been in a color run and didn't come out.
And I think it's actually just remember back in the 60s when ladies would color their hair and some of the guys would say blue hairs and so on and so forth. And whatever happened to those days? I mean, guys use Brill cream. We don't do that anymore.
A little dab will do you.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
I used to do that. My mom always put it in my hair.
is that right?
Yeah, I can remember running the comb over it and all that grease all over the, it's like get a lube job on your head.
I remember the days of using a comb.
yeah. What was that all about? Yeah,
What
really.
was that like? Golly. All right, coming up in a moment to look at sports, we'll have a recap for you in just a bit. But first, Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your total trusted comfort advisor. They've been doing this for nearly 5 decades, keeping you cool when it's hot, keeping you warm when it's cool, and now they're doing their best to keep you dry and keeping the water where it's supposed to be, as opposed to running all over the place. If you've got one of the issues where it's just not a good comfort situation, click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com. It will take you right to Accurate's website, AccurateHVAC.com, and find out more about your trusted comfort advisor, Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Sports is next.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
Today is Wednesday, and that's where we get together at McDonald's. Not always you and I at McDonald's.
That's correct.
But we have been to McDonald's
Many
before.
times.
Usually at Western Avenue, sometimes on Bridge Street. We've been to East Main. Mm-hmm. That's 3 of the 4 locations here in Chillicothe, but also in Waverly, in Greenfield, and in Circleville. You can stop in there between 2 and 5 today. Ask about a job, joining the McDonald's team. If you can be a part of the McCrew, next thing you know, you got free food, you got a paycheck, you got all this stuff, and an opportunity, as you've heard Leah Metler talk about, some of your education get paid for as well. So join the McDonald's team. If you click on McDonald's, anything you see on our website, it will take you right to their McHire website. So learn more at McDonald's today between 2 and 5 at our 7 area McDonald's locations. McDonald's.
I'm loving it.
On cue. Somebody that's loving it also is Blake Fitch.
Yeah.
Last night had a 20-point event with last night's Litter Media broadcast and managed to come away 20 points and player of the game honors.
Yeah. He scored the last 4 points of the game. Probably a little known fact. You know, oftentimes you think about the scoring of points, but he also had the duty of guarding Landon Jarrell of Zane Trace. Now, Landon had 23, but Blake did a great job on him to earn that Player of the Year or Player of the Game honors. Unioto came back to win that one, 59-58. They were down by 7 with about 2 minutes to go in the game and outscored Zane Trace 12-4 to close out that run.
Now, inside the story that you're seeing here on our website, if you go there, we've got Litter Media Extras. You can hear what Coach Kello had to say about the heartbreaking loss, what Coach Hoops had to say about the victory, even when the lights are off at the start of the interview, as well as Blake Fitch, the McDonald's Player of the Game. And on demand, if you click on Litter Media replay, you can hear the game from start to finish, the pregame all the way through, commentary with Mike and Tom. And you can also hear it on Litter Media Radio today, again at 1 o'clock and again at 7 p.m. But if you want to hear it just like right now, you can go to the website, and it's right there in the story.
Yeah. Both of those teams with that Uniota win last night are tied for the league lead at 6-1. Looking also at our littermedia.com score page, you can get all of the area scores last night. You also see in the SVC, Adena, Westfall, and Huntington were all winners. With those wins, Adena and Westfall now are a game back of both Zane Trace and Uniota. Wheelersburg, who had a big win over Minford last week to take over sole possession of the SOC.
Knocked off?
No, they won.
Oh, did
but
they?
Just by the skin of their teeth, they beat West last night 54-53. South Webster was also a winner. Sims Valley over Western. Northwest beat Eastern. South Gallia, Notre Dame, New Boston were all winners. Elsewhere in the TVC, Meigs, Benton County, Fed Hawk. Non-conference play, Logan Elm boys beat Chillicothe last night 47-39. This one really caught my attention. We saw Liberty Union earlier in the year, and we were pretty impressed. But last night, New Hope Christian drilled them 60-45.
Wow.
We got to get up there and see that New Hope team. Tays Valley, a non-conference win last night. Fairfield boys stay undefeated with a win over McLean. You can go and find all of those scores and more at littermedia.com score page.
We're going to Jackson Friday night.
Sound like Johnny Cash almost. We're going to Jackson.
Friday night. Then we're going to Asheville on Saturday night. So our Litter Media game of the week this week is a doubleheader for you. Boys basketball Friday. And when we look at this, Miami Trace has a 2 or 3 game lead on Jackson.
One on Courthouse.
Right. Courthouse is hanging in the wings there. But they're unscathed in the conference. Jackson has won like 9 straight games.
Right.
And I don't think anybody wants to play Jackson right now.
Well, they don't have any choice.
You're going to have to.
Panthers are coming. Yeah.
You bet. And, of course, we've talked a little bit about Circleville and Tays Valley. Circleville undefeated, but Tays Valley's championship recognition night, so it'll be neat to see all those kids coming back.
Yeah, we will have Trevor Youngkin's comments on our pre-game show at noon tomorrow here live on Facebook. And Trevor said that the actual ceremony will be closer to 7. I think in our story it talks about the alumni need to report at 6:30, but the ceremony for the general public probably closer to 7 o'clock, and then the game will follow that.
And we'll see if we can get like Mindy Fusetti and
Well,
Bridget
he said
over.
she won't be there. Bridget and Mindy,
is that right?
they're not going to be there.
Okay, I thought he said they would be there.
No.
Well, we'll try
Unless
and get somebody
they surprise
at halftime.
us.
Yeah. We'll see if we can get him on.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Mindy's married to the sheriff. Maybe
You'd think he'd get an escort for her.
exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's sports.
That's it?
That's it. It
Nothing
was
else?
A
Oh,
lot of high school last
there is
night.
something else. Adrian Beltre, also Todd Helton, Joe Mauer, the latest players to go into the Hall of Fame, and Jim Leland as well.
Yeah.
Manager of the Pirates and the Tigers over the years. I think he did he manage one of the U.S. teams in the Olympics, or maybe in the
that I don't remember.
the world thing that they do to start off the season these days.
He was a colorful character.
That he was.
in the dugout. Yeah.
Yeah. And he comes back from one of those days of when the managers would stand there with a cigarette in their hand.
I was just thinking of that. Yeah.
And speaking of which, I was thinking about this just yesterday. Phil Bobo is being laid to rest today, and I went to the viewing last night. And when I first came to Chillicothe with Phil Bobo and Bob Centers as the head coaches of the boys and girls track teams, it was something to think. These are 2 track coaches, and they're both sitting there with cigarettes in their hands, talking and doing interviews and stuff. You just don't see that today, you know. But back then was a different era.
I remember seeing a picture of Lenny Dawson, the former quarterback, on the bench in his uniform during a game smoking a cigarette. Yeah, you don't see that anymore.
It's like NIL money back then. You
Right,
know?
exactly.
So, all right, coming up in a moment, this date in history, the Litter Media Wayback Machine goes to
1972, but it involves World War II.
what?
Figure that one out. We'll tell you about it in just a moment.
All right. Details next.
It's the details that make the difference between good enough and simply the best. At Skag Power Equipment, the difference is in designing lawnmowers with your convenience and comfort in mind. At Skag, we believe that quality and substance matter, and that you'll appreciate the attention to detail and craftsmanship we put into every single product. Thick steel and heavy-duty components provide you with unmatched reliability and performance. Skag, simply the best.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch just to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing, download the Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
If you can't give true love to me, I'll understand. Just
it's only worth it if you enjoy it. Michelob Ultra.
Time for this date in history with Mr. History, Mike Smith.
Talking World War II out of 1972. No, we didn't go back into a time portal and change anything.
That's 30 years later.
Yeah. But on this date in 1972, after 28 years of hiding in the jungles of Guam, local farmers discover Sotroi Yokoya, a Japanese sergeant who fought in World War II. After U.S. forces retook Guam in 1944, Yokoya went into hiding rather than surrender to the Americans. In the jungles of Guam, he carved survival tools and for the next 3 decades waited for the return of the Japanese and his next orders. After he was discovered in 1972, he was finally discharged and sent home to Japan, where he was hailed as a national hero. So he didn't know the war was over.
Can you imagine that? 30 years?
Yeah.
Not knowing. You had to figure something.
Yeah. Incredible.
At some point in time.
Incredible. But this is the
did he have a volleyball with Wilson on it?
No, I don't think so. But this is the icing on the cake. After he went back home, after 30 years of thinking the war was still on, basically living a caveman life, he marries, and where do you think they went on their honeymoon?
Hawaii?
Guam. He went back to Guam. I don't think they spent the night in the cave or anything, but that is your story and true. You just can't write this stuff and make it up. 1972.
I've never been to Guam. My son has been there. Most people who have been to Guam either live there or have been in the military. So that's like Diego Garcia.
It's not very big. Yeah.
Diego Garcia is just little tiny bit of an island that comes up out of the water, basically.
Most islands do.
Right.
Now, you're not talking to the primary STEM kids again. Is this the vice president trying to tell us? Oh, I shouldn't have said that. An island is this thing that comes up out of the water. Steve Lois just fell off the boat when he heard you say that. Yeah,
Gilligan has one.
Yeah, right.
But Diego Garcia is this little tiny military stop, and it just is, I think it's maybe 2 miles long, but it's curved, so it's like 2 miles from here to there.
Right.
And when he said he was going to be there, I thought, well, where's Diego Garcia? So I got his globe. I pulled it off the shelf, and I sat down, and I'm looking in the Pacific Ocean, and I basically had to go to Google to find it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
globe,
there it is.
Viewers, a globe is a round, it's a sphere
thing that
replicates the Earth.
Precisely.
Aaron says it's time to give these guys an F in geography and everything else. Yeah.
Isaac Washington
That's it. Yeah,
is the name we were talking
about the Love Boat. Yeah.
Off the air about the Love Boat. Steve Lewis and his portrayal of Captain Stubing. He and his wife on this cruise. It seems like every time you turn around, he's on a boat somewhere.
Yeah.
But we were going through the characters' names, and we couldn't remember some of the characters' names. And Isaac Washington was one we were having difficulty.
Was he a
with.
bartender on the ship?
Yes.
I think he was. Yes. Yeah. Okay, and that's your date in history for today.
I think we've exhausted everything we could talk about here today. So, all right, back at it again tomorrow. I am out tomorrow. You will be here with the ever-capable producer extraordinary, Aaron Glandon, who will give
the eye candy of the show.
He will. That's why he's off camera right now. He will give a report on what we did today over at the Chillicothe Primary School. So that's coming up. And I want to say thanks to the folks at Chillicothe City Schools for allowing us to come in and participate in that, but also they opened up the doors to us to see all the stuff that's going on, and not everybody wants to do that.
Right.
Because they see 60 Minutes is coming, and that's not the case.
Because they know these two guys.
Well, we went to Principal England's office, and I got to thinking as we're walking through, Aaron's carrying the camera and everything, and I remember those times when people would say, "Sir, 60 Minutes is here." It's none of that situation.
Well, I remember the last time that you and I both went to Chillicothe School together. Julie Preston greeted us at the door with a gun on her hip.
That's true. Yes. Hey, before we wrap up, there is one more thing to mention. Charles Osgood.
Oh, my, yes.
You texted me yesterday to let me know that Charles Osgood has passed away. And for folks who are not familiar with who Charles Osgood was, he was CBS News on radio.
Right. And you've heard me often say, "I'll see you on the radio." That was Charles Osgood's line. I thought you were with us at that time, but you apparently weren't. We went over to Athens for an OAB meeting, and Charles Osgood was the guest speaker. Had a chance to meet him, and our former boss, Dan Latham, and I can't recall the teacher's name, but she was a teacher at Chillicothe City Schools that knew Charles. And when Dan mentioned her name to Charles, he lit up. And Dan said later, "There's a story behind that we'll probably never know about."
I was going to say probably never hear. Never hear. But Charles Osgood, of course, when you would see him on TV, most often it would be CBS Sunday Morning.
With a bow tie.
With a bow tie, you bet. All right. So in Charles Osgood's best voice, thank you for watching. And we'll see you on the radio. Litter Media Radio.